Have you ever felt like there's something fundamentally wrong with reality? A deep sense that you're living a life that isn't yours, stuck in a script you didn't write? What if I told you that this feeling isn't paranoia? It's your consciousness trying to warn you that you're inside a simulation. Not a computer simulation, but a holographic projection created and maintained by your own subconscious mind. Quantum physics has already proven that solid reality is an illusion. Everything is energy. But what they don't tell you is that this energy responds to a command. And that command is the frequency your subconscious emits 24 hours a day. The problem is, your system has been hacked. Since childhood, a limitation program was installed in you, a mental virus that forces you to project a reality of struggle, scarcity, and frustration. You are a god living the nightmare of a slave, and you don't even know it. But today, your prison ends. This isn't just another video about positive thinking. This is an instruction manual for a consciousness rebellion. I'm going to give you the lost knowledge of Thoth, the map to access the control panel of your subconscious, uninstall the virus, and release a hidden energy so powerful it's been sealed away for millennia. What you're going to learn here is not to be shared carelessly. When we get to part 7, you'll understand why. If you're tired of being a prisoner in your own life, comment. My consciousness rebellion starts now. Human beings are a great miracle, a being worthy of reverence and honor. They belong to the divine nature as if they were gods, and to the mortal nature as if they were human. They are, therefore, an intermediary among creatures, connected to the higher by what is divine in them, and to the lower by what is mortal. This programming that sabotages you isn't an abstract concept, it's a real biological mechanism. Have you ever wondered why, no matter how hard you try, you always seem to end up in the same place? With the same financial struggles, the same patterns of failed relationships, the same feeling that something is missing. This isn't a flaw in you, it's your program running perfectly. Cellular biologist Dr. Bruce Lipton dedicated his life to scientifically proving that about 95% of everything you do, think, and feel every day is automatic, governed by habits and beliefs stored in your subconscious. You're living on autopilot and don't even realize it. The installation of this mental software happens silently and efficiently during the first 7 years of your life. At that stage, your brain doesn't operate like an adult's, with logic and critical thinking. It functions predominantly in theta brainwaves, a low-frequency state that is essentially hypnotic. You are a sponge, absorbing everything from your environment without any filter. Your parents' arguments about money, the way they talked about work, the beliefs of your community about what's possible or impossible, all of it was recorded directly onto your internal hard drive as absolute, unquestionable truth. Think about the phrases you heard repeatedly. Money is the root of all evil. You have to work hard to get anything in life. You can't trust people. That's not for people like us. To your child mind, these weren't just opinions. They were laws of the universe. They became the pillars of your perception of reality, the operating system that defines the limits of what you believe you can achieve, have, and become. These beliefs formed your identity, and from there, your life became a self-fulfilling prophecy, constantly confirming what was programmed into you. Today, as an adult, your conscious mind, the 5% that represents your willpower and desires, may dream of a life of abundance, love, and freedom. You might read books, attend lectures, and set ambitious goals. But it's like trying to install a new app on a computer running an outdated, virus-ridden operating system. The subconscious, which controls 95% of the processing power, simply doesn't recognize the new command. It keeps running the original program of scarcity, struggle, and limitation, sabotaging your efforts in ways you can't even notice. That's why you start a diet and give up, promise to save money and end up with an unexpected debt, or attract the same type of toxic partner over and over again. It's not a lack of discipline, it's an internal conflict. Your conscious mind is stepping on the gas, but your subconscious has its foot on the brake. With the handbrake pulled and the car in reverse, you're fighting a civil war inside your own mind, and the side with 95% of the power is winning. You feel exhausted, frustrated, and start to believe that the problem is you, that you just can't do it. The truth is, you can't win this battle by force. Trying to change using only willpower is like trying to tear down a wall with your bare hands. You need a different strategy. You need to find a back door, a way to access the system and rewrite the source code. And the good news is, that door exists. A secret kept for millennia, encoded in ancient texts by those who understood the architecture of the human mind, reveals exactly how to hack this system and finally align your full power in the direction of your dreams. The secret of Thoth to hack the subconscious. While our civilization got lost in materialism, believing only in what could be touched and measured, an ancient wisdom remained hidden, waiting to be rediscovered. Thousands of years before any neuroscientist ever mapped the brain, a legendary figure known in ancient Egypt as Thoth, the scribe of the gods, left humanity an instruction manual for reality. In a mysterious text called the Emerald Tablets, he recorded a principle that is the master key to hacking your subconscious. As above, so below. As within, so without. This phrase is not a vague metaphor. It's a literal description of how the universe works. It reveals that your external reality, everything you see, touch, and experience, is a perfect mirror of your inner world. If your inner world is chaotic, full of fear and scarcity-based beliefs, your outer world will reflect exactly that. To change the reflection in the mirror, there's no point in trying to clean the mirror. You need to change the image being projected. You need to change what's inside. And what's inside is your subconscious, the program running 95% of your life on autopilot. But how do you change a program you can't even consciously access? How do you communicate with that deep part of your mind that doesn't understand logic or willpower? Thoth knew the secret wasn't to fight negative thoughts or force yourself to be positive. The secret is to speak the only language the subconscious understands, the language of emotion and symbolic repetition. Your subconscious mind is like fertile soil. It doesn't judge the seed, it just makes it grow. If you plant seeds of doubt and fear, you'll harvest a life of struggle. This is where modern science meets ancient wisdom. Researchers at the HeartMath Institute made a groundbreaking discovery. The human heart generates an electromagnetic field that is up to 5,000 times stronger than the field generated by the brain. Your emotions, felt in the heart, are the true engine of your vibrational frequency. They are the strongest signal you send to the quantum field. A thought of wealth without emotion is a whisper. But the feeling of gratitude and abundance is a shout that echoes across the universe. That's why just thinking positively doesn't work. You need to feel the truth of what you want. When you learn to intentionally generate the emotion of a desire already fulfilled, something magical happens. You begin to rewrite the program by feeling gratitude for perfect health even when your body is sick, or joy for abundance even when your bank account is empty. You're sending a new command to your subconscious. You're giving it a new seed to plant. With repetition, that new emotion starts to create new neural pathways, and the subconscious begins to accept this new reality as fact, transmitting this new frequency to the universe. However, it's exactly at this crucial point that 99% of people fail miserably. They start the process, try to feel the emotion, but fall into a critical mistake, a subtle mental trap that cancels out all the effort and throws them back to square one. They have the key, they insert it into the lock, but they turn it the wrong way, locking the door to their power instead of opening it. And this mistake is the reason so many give up, convinced that none of this works for them. This fatal error that keeps people stuck is so subtle that most don't even realize they're making it. They learn about the power of the mind, begin practicing visualizations and affirmations, but their lives stay exactly the same. Frustration sets in, and they conclude that the law of attraction is a hoax. The error isn't in the law, but in the execution. They try to manifest from a state of lack, of absence. They focus on what they want, but their entire being, their energy and emotions scream what they don't have. And the universe, being a faithful mirror, responds to that scream. Think about the vibration behind the words. When you say, "I want more money," what are you actually feeling? Most of the time, it's the anxiety of bills to pay, the fear of scarcity, the frustration of not having enough. Your energy is focused on the absence of money. The phrase "I want" is, in itself, a declaration that you don't have. You're unintentionally affirming and reinforcing your current reality of lack. The universe doesn't understand your words, it understands your frequency. And the frequency of lack can only attract more situations that generate the feeling of lack. It's a vicious cycle. The real secret, the game-changing key, is a radical shift in perspective. You have to stop asking and start receiving. And to receive, you need to align your vibration with that of your desire already fulfilled, before any physical evidence appears. It's not about pretending, it's about feeling. It's about evoking the feeling of gratitude for wealth, as if your account were already full. It's about feeling the peace and joy of a loving relationship as if the person were already by your side. It's about feeling the vitality of perfect health before the body is healed. That's what it means to align your energy. When you manage to generate that genuine feeling, a cascade of biochemical events happens inside you. Your brain, which doesn't distinguish between a real experience and one vividly imagined and felt, begins to release the same chemicals it would if the event had already happened. Dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin. Your body literally starts to shift into a new state of being. Your electromagnetic field, driven by the emotion of your heart, changes frequency. You stop being a transmitter of lack and become a powerful magnet for having. You stop chasing reality and start attracting it. The struggle ends. The desperate effort fades and gives way to calm confidence. You're no longer trying to convince the universe to give you something. You're tuning into the frequency where what you want already exists. It's like tuning a radio. The music isn't created when you turn the dial, it was already in the air. You just adjusted your receiver to pick it up. By changing your emotional state, you are adjusting your vibrational receiver to tune into a new reality. And it is exactly at this moment, when your internal frequency begins to stabilize in this new state of being, that the external world starts to respond in strange and wonderful ways. Things that once seemed impossible start to happen. The puzzle pieces begin to fall into place on their own. You enter a flow where the universe seems to conspire in your favor, sending clues and signs to show you it heard your new transmission and is reorganizing reality to match it. The phenomenon of synchronicities. The universe begins to speak to you. The moment your vibration aligns with the feeling of your desire fulfilled, communication with the universe changes. It stops being a monologue of requests and becomes a dialogue. And the language the universe uses to respond is synchronicity. Psychiatrist Carl Jung described this phenomenon as meaningful coincidences, events that are connected not by cause and effect, but by meaning. These are the moments that give you goosebumps and make you think, there's no way this is just a coincidence. And it isn't. They are winks from the cosmos, confirmations that you're on the right path. Suddenly, you think of someone you haven't seen in years, and that same day they text you or you run into them on the street. You're struggling with the question, and the answer appears clearly in the lyrics of a song on the radio, on the cover of a book in a store window, or in a conversation you overhear by chance. These are not random occurrences, they are feedback from the quantum field, the materialization of information that matches your new frequency. The universe is showing you that it heard your new song and is starting to dance to the same rhythm. This phase is like following a breadcrumb trail left by a higher intelligence. Your external reality begins to shift in subtle but undeniable ways. People and situations that resonated with your old vibration of fear and scarcity start to fade away naturally without drama or conflict. It's as if they can no longer tune into your new energy. At the same time, new doors open. You meet people who offer the opportunity you needed. You find resources that seemed non-existent, and solutions arise from the most unexpected places. The feeling of swimming against the current disappears. You begin to feel that life is no longer happening to you, but for you and through you. There's a sense of flow, of being in the right place at the right time. Anxiety lessens, replaced by an excited curiosity about what the next synchronicity will be, what the next sign will look like. You begin to trust the process, to understand that you don't need to know every step. You just need to maintain your vibration and follow the clues the universe gives you. It's a delightful game of discovery and co-creation. However, it's precisely at this point, when you feel more connected and powerful than ever, that the universe presents its most crucial test. It's a challenge specifically designed to check the authenticity and stability of your new vibration. It's a moment of truth, a crossroads that will determine whether you're just flirting with this new reality or if you've truly committed to becoming this new version of yourself. Most people don't realize this is a test, and they interpret the challenge as a sign of failure. This test doesn't come to punish you, it comes to strengthen you. It's like a blacksmith plunging a hot blade into cold water. The shock isn't meant to break the steel, but to temper it, to make it stronger and more resilient. The universe is about to ask you a direct question, not with words, but with circumstances. It wants to know if your new faith is unshakable or if it crumbles at the first sign of turbulence. And your reaction in that moment will define your entire future. Just when the tide seems to have turned in your favor, when synchronicities are flowing and you feel like you finally figured out the game, the universe throws you a curveball. Out of nowhere, an unexpected challenge appears, seeming to contradict everything you've been building. It might be a bill you weren't expecting, harsh criticism from someone you admire, a project that goes wrong, or an obstacle that seems to throw you right back into the situation you were trying to escape. The first reaction of the programmed mind is panic. The immediate thought is, "I knew it. It was too good to be true. This doesn't work. This is the moment of truth. This is not a sign that the process failed or that you did something wrong. This is the final graduation test. The universe, like a wise teacher, is giving you the final exam before handing you the diploma. The unspoken question behind the challenge is, do you truly believe in your new reality, even when the old one is screaming in your face? Is your faith conditional, dependent on favorable external circumstances, or is it an unshakable inner certainty? Your answer isn't given with words, but with your vibration in that exact moment. The vast majority of people fail spectacularly here. When faced with the obstacle, they're immediately pulled back into old patterns of fear, doubt, and worry. Their vibration, which was high and steady, crashes. They react to the challenge in the same way they always have, proving to the universe that the change was only superficial, a mask that fell off at the first sign of trouble. And by doing so, they send a powerful signal that deep down they still believe in the reality of struggle and scarcity. The universe then simply confirms that belief, and the cycle of frustration begins again. But those who understand the nature of the game do something radically different. They see the challenge, feel the initial sting of fear or doubt, but they don't identify with it. They take a deep breath and consciously choose to maintain their high vibration. They look at the obstacle not as a wall, but as an opportunity to demonstrate their new faith. They trust that if the universe brought them this far, it won't abandon them now. They hold firmly to the feeling of their desire already fulfilled, treating the external problem as a temporary illusion. A passing cloud in a sky they know is blue. This attitude of unwavering trust in the face of adversity is the most powerful signal you can send to the universe. It is your declaration of mastery. You are saying, "I don't need to see it to believe it. I believe, and therefore I will see it. My inner peace is non-negotiable and doesn't depend on what happens out there." By refusing to lower your frequency, you pass the test. You prove that your transformation is genuine and that you're ready for the next level. You don't just overcome the obstacle, you use it as a springboard. And when you pass that test, when you demonstrate that resilient faith, something profound shifts in the fabric of reality. It's not that you simply return to the flow you were in before. You access a level of power and speed of manifestation that was completely unavailable to you until then. The universe stops testing you and starts promoting you. The door that was only slightly open swings wide, revealing a path where your hidden energy, once repressed, finally finds the freedom to create without limits. The unlocking, when your hidden energy finally sets itself free. The moment you maintain your high vibration in the face of the universe's test, an internal barrier you didn't even know existed disintegrates. It's as if an invisible dam, which had been holding back all your personal power, finally bursts, releasing a flow of creative energy that floods every area of your life. The universe, recognizing your mastery and unshakable faith, stops treating you like a student and begins to treat you as a co-creator. Manifestation stops being a conscious effort and becomes your natural state of being, just as automatic and effortless as breathing. This is the turning point, the moment when you truly master the principle of the holographic universe. The understanding is no longer intellectual, it becomes cellular. You feel, in every fiber of your being, that external reality is neither solid nor fixed, but a malleable projection of your own consciousness. The need to fight, force, or manipulate the outer world completely disappears. Your only focus becomes managing your internal state, tending to your inner garden, knowing with absolute certainty that the outer world will adjust to reflect the beauty, order, and abundance you cultivate within. Your hidden energy, that primal life force that had been suffocated by years of limiting programming, fear, and doubt, is finally released from its chains. You feel a wave of vitality, mental clarity, and creative inspiration that you may not have felt since childhood. Chronic fatigue and mental fog give way to a calm enthusiasm and sharp intuition. Solutions to problems arise in your mind with startling ease, and you move through life with a grace and efficiency that seems almost superhuman to those observing from the outside. People around you begin to notice a profound change in you. It's not something you say, it's something you radiate. A presence, a magnetic charisma, a calmness that seems unshakable. They feel drawn to your energy without knowing why. You become a beacon, and your very presence begins to inspire and uplift others. You no longer need to convince anyone of anything. Your life becomes the living proof of the power you've accessed. You become a conscious co-creator, an artist whose canvas is life itself. It is in this state of flow and power that you finally understand the depth of Thoth's wisdom. The search for power, validation, or happiness outside of yourself is revealed as the greatest illusion of all. You realize that the kingdom of heaven, the treasure, the source of all creation, was never in a distant place or in a future to be reached. It was always within you, buried beneath layers of social conditioning and false identities, patiently waiting for the moment you would be ready to claim it. With that energy unleashed, you don't just attract what you desire, you become what you desire. The separation between creator and creation dissolves. You're no longer manifesting wealth, you become the embodiment of abundance. You're no longer seeking love, you become a source of unconditional love. And it is from this new state of being, this new vibrational identity, that reality bends to your will, not through force, but through resonance. But how exactly do you operate from this level of mastery in everyday life? Operating from this new state of released energy fundamentally changes your relationship with reality. You no longer desire things, you command them. The difference is seismic. Desire is born from the perception of lack. It's a request made on your knees by someone who feels separate from power. Command, on the other hand, is born from the absolute certainty of oneness. It's a calm and firm declaration from someone who knows they are the source itself. It's the energetic difference between a beggar asking for a coin and a king signing a decree in his own kingdom. You stop asking and start allowing what is already yours to manifest. You reach a state that great spiritual masters call vibrational certainty. It's a place beyond faith and belief. Faith is believing in something you cannot see. Vibrational certainty is knowing on a visceral level that what you intend is already a reality in a non-physical plane, and your only task is to maintain the frequency so that this reality can precipitate into the physical world. You stop waiting to see to believe and start believing so that you can see. You become the cause, and your life becomes the effect. In this state, your actions change drastically. You begin to act as the person who already has what you intend. If your intention is prosperity, you no longer act out of fear of spending or the anxiety of scarcity. You operate with the wisdom and generosity of someone who knows money is just energy and that the flow is infinite. If your intention is confidence, you no longer hide in the shadows. You step forward and speak your truth, even if your voice trembles at first. You're no longer faking it until you make it. You're being it to become it. Each of these aligned actions serves as a powerful confirmation to your subconscious. You're providing it with irrefutable evidence that the identity shift is real and permanent. Every decision made from a place of abundance, confidence, and love solidifies the new neural pathways, making your new state of being your automatic default. Manifestation accelerates exponentially because there's no longer any internal conflict. Your thoughts, feelings, actions, and vibration are all singing the same song in perfect harmony. This internal coherence is what transforms you from a mere manifester into a master creator. You no longer need complicated rituals or forced visualization techniques. Your very existence becomes the technique. Your natural, effortless vibration is what shapes reality around you. You become a vortex of creative energy, and the universe, in its infinite intelligence, begins to bring you the people, components, and opportunities that perfectly match your visions, often in ways more brilliant than you could have imagined. But how do you sustain this state of command and vibrational certainty permanently? How do you ensure you're not pulled back into old habits of wanting and doubting? There is one final secret, a paradox that, once understood and practiced, integrates all other teachings and turns your life into a work of art, fluid and effortless. It is the final piece of the puzzle, the key that locks the door to your old prison forever. The final secret: surrender to the flow. The supreme paradox and the deepest secret to total mastery is this: to gain absolute control, you must completely surrender. This is not a surrender of defeat or passivity. It is a surrender of trust. It is the conscious act of letting go of the need to control how and when your desires will manifest. You do your part, which is to set the intention with crystal clarity and align your vibration with the feeling of the outcome already achieved. And then, with serene confidence, you hand over the logistics to a higher intelligence, the universe itself. The human mind, with its limited perspective, can only see a few possible paths to a goal. When you cling to a specific outcome or a particular way in which things should happen, you are, in fact, limiting the universe. Anxiety and worry about how and when create enormous energetic resistance. It's like giving a GPS an address and then grabbing the steering wheel every 5 seconds, doubting the route. You only interfere with the process and block the natural flow of things. True mastery lies in the harmonious dance between focused intention and detached surrender. Thoth, in his wisdom, spoke of the balance between masculine and feminine energies present in all of creation. The masculine energy is intention, action, focus, direction. It is you planting the seed with clarity and power. The feminine energy is receptivity, trust, patience, allowing. It is you trusting that the fertile soil of the universe, watered by your vibration, will make the seed grow in perfect time and manner. Most people get stuck only in the masculine energy, trying to force, fight, and control every detail. The real magic, however, happens in the balance. You define the what with the full force of your intention, and you release the how with the full trust of your heart. You plant the seed and tend to the soil, your vibration. But you don't keep digging it up every day to see if it's sprouting. That radical trust frees up an enormous amount of energy that was previously consumed by worry and doubt. That freed up energy, in turn, accelerates the manifestation process even more. You enter a state of effortless flow where life seems to unfold for you with grace and perfection. Practicing surrender is an act of power, not weakness. It is recognizing that your conscious mind is a limited tool and that there is a cosmic intelligence, infinitely wiser and more creative, working on your behalf. It is trading the anxiety of control for the peace of trust. When you master this dance, when you learn to desire intensely and let go lightly, you are no longer just playing the manifestation game. You become the game itself. Your life transforms from a series of problems to be solved into a masterpiece, to be appreciated. When you integrate intention, vibration, and surrender, you align with the rhythm of the cosmos itself. You stop swimming against the current and allow the river of life to carry you exactly where you need to go, often to destinations even greater than you imagined. You become a clear channel through which the creative energy of the universe can flow without obstruction. And it is from this state of being that you begin to live. Not as a human being seeking spiritual experiences, but as a spiritual being living a masterful human experience. You now hold the complete map. You understand that your consciousness is not separate from reality. It actively shapes it. You know that your subconscious is the operating system and that your emotional vibration is the programming language. You've learned to rewrite the old code, to pass the universe's faith tests, and to enter a state of absolute certainty where you no longer wish, you command. You have grasped the final paradox of surrender, the dance between intention and trust. The keys to the kingdom are yours. Now, what will you do with them? The power to shape reality has always been within you. This has never been a poetic metaphor, it is a fundamental law of the physics of consciousness. You are not, and have never been, a victim of circumstances. You are the source from which circumstances arise. The concept of a holographic universe ceases to be an intriguing scientific theory and becomes your personal playground, your blank canvas. Life stops being something that happens to you and becomes your greatest creation, your ever-evolving masterpiece. From today forward, embody this mastery in every moment. Practice gratitude even before manifestation arrives, not as a technique, but as your natural state of being, recognizing the abundance that already exists in the quantum field. Act as if your success were an inevitable conclusion, making decisions not from fear of what might go wrong, but from certainty that it has already gone right on the energetic level. Trust the process, even when your logical mind can't see the way, knowing that the universe has a panoramic view and is always guiding you along the most efficient route. If you've made it this far, leave a comment saying, "I choose to wake up from the simulation," to show that you're part of this journey. If you'd like to help support the channel more directly, there's a link in the first pinned comment where you can contribute and support the continuation of content like this. Any help is very important to me and to the channel's growth, but know that just the fact that you watched until the end is already a huge contribution, and you can also share this video with someone who needs this message. And don't leave just yet. I've selected a special video here on the screen. Click on it now and I'll meet you there.